Hello everyone, welcome to human-robot interaction lecture. This lecture is intended to level 7 students. My name is Abdullah Alhusin and I will be giving you the lecture for today. The lecture learning outcomes will be having the answer for why do we need interaction between the human and the robot. We will also take a look at the levels of interaction between the human and the robot. Then we will see a conventional human-robot interaction setup. And then after that, we will take a look at future vision for the human-robot interaction. And we'll finalize with the example of human-robot interaction setups. So we start first with the motivation. There is actually two main reasons behind the interaction between the human and the robot. The first one is to provide the ability for the human to control the robot and work side by side with the robot. The second reason is that to provide the robot with understanding of the human requirement and provide the needed support for that. As you can see in the example here, the robot will identify the hand of the operator and know through a voice command that the human needs a support, and then the robot will follow the human hand and provide the support needed. The environment is monitored, for example, with sensors and vision system to facilitate that. In order to understand more the interaction, we can take a look at the level of interaction between the human and the robot, and this is measured through the level of collaboration. So as you can see in the graph here, if we start from the left side, we will see that the lowest level of collaboration is actually when there's a complete isolation between the human and the robot, so they don't share any workspace, any tasks, and any time together. And then if we move one step toward the level of collaboration to the right, we will see that there is a level of coexistence. So both the human and the robot coexist in the same environment without any barriers and fences. However, they don't share any of the tasks. They only share the workspace. They don't share the task, and they don't share the time between them. Then if we move one step to the right, we will see that the sequential collaboration level, which means that both the human and the robot share the workspace and they share the task. However, they don't share the time. So they work in a sequential way, which means that, for example, the human starts first and then hand out the task to the robot, so the robot will continue. And then if we move another step, we will see the cooperation stage where the human and the robot share the workspace and time. However, in this case, they don't share the task or the item that they interact with. And if we want the ultimate collaboration, then it's the far right side of the figure where we have the responsive collaboration. And in this case, both the human and the robot share the same workspace. They also share in this case, they share the time, and also they share the tasks, so they interact directly with each other. So if we take a look at the conventional human-robot interaction at the moment, we will see that many setups that actually they have a limited interaction between the human and the robot, with a certain region that is defined and monitored through sensors and vision systems to facilitate this interaction. However, this is limited in terms of collaboration between the human and the robot, as you can see in the figure here. On the other hand, for future vision, the interaction between the human and the robot need to be without any barriers and without any fences. And the communication between the human and the robot can be in different kind of technologies, for example, using force sensors, using gestures or voice commands to facilitate this communication. And in the same time, The environment is safe enough for the human to work side by side with the robot, using sensors and vision systems to monitor the environment and detect any potential of collision and avoid that collision. Now we move to the first example of interaction between the human and the robot, and in this case is a vision-based interaction. And for this interaction, for this example here, a depth cameras is used to monitor the human, identify the human location in 3D space, and track the human in real time. And in this case, those cameras are installed in the space that is shared between the human and the robot. And these cameras will capture the human body as a 3D point cloud. And this 3D point cloud will represent the human. In the other hand, the sensors in the joints of the robot can be used to construct a 3D representation of the robot and merged it with the point cloud to create an augmented environment where we can monitor both the human and the robot. And we calculate the minimum distance between the human and the robot to facilitate this interaction safely without any injuries or collisions. As you can see in the figure on the right side of the figure, you will see that each camera is connected to a local workstation, and then it's connected to a local server where it's calculating the distance between the human and the robot and controlling the robot accordingly. So you see, this is an example for that, a short video of the setup. And you see that when the human is approaching the robot knows the direction and move toward the human to facilitate any collaboration needed. In the other side, if the human is moving toward the robot, then the robot rotates to the other side. However, because of the safety, approaching very closely the robot will stop and actually not move toward the human to avoid any potential collision, and then continue moving when the human is walking away in this case. So let's take a look at the second example of a human-robot interaction, and in this case is a brain-robot interaction. And for this example here, the EEG signals of the human brain is used so the human can think about a certain command, and then it will be translated through this system into a meaningful command for the robot. After training the system with a set of commands, it is possible to identify the features of the brain waves of the human, and using that to classify and decide which thought or which command that the human is thinking about. Of course, it is including also artifact removal stage, which we remove actually any artifacts or noise in the signals that is captured by the system. This is using a certain headset that can capture the voltages of the signals of the brain. As you can see, this is a multi-channel device that can help us to construct the pattern that you can see in the topographic map or in this figure here. So let's take a look at a short video for that. So as a first experiment, as you can see, I am working on this project where I am controlling the robot through the head movement. The video on the left side. And then on the right side, you can see that I am actually controlling the robot through brainwave signals. So I'm asking the robot to move to a certain command, and then the robot responds. Thank you very much for listening. As an assignment for the next lecture, select a research paper within the topic of human-robot interaction and prepare a short summary for that, and also discuss the results that has been achieved. Thank you.